Alright, hello everyone, I'm Milo, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing okay today. On this one I'm going to be playing Meat Boy. You might have heard of Super Meat Boy in 2010. Big part of what I'm calling the early modern indie boom. But prior to Super Meat Boy there was the original Meat Boy, a Flash game on Newgrounds. But there's a little bit of the story before that I want to tell, which I'll do. Actually, we can leave that music running. We need to visit some external material. Well, first of all, if you get the Basement Collection, there's a lot of cool, interesting experimental Flash games on here. There's also bonus content, so you can hear a sort of interview that goes for about half an hour, where Ed McMillen, the co-creator of Meat Boy, answers questions about its development and stuff. Pretty interesting. But the Basement Collection in 2012 is not the first time that there's been a sort of collection looking back at Ed McMillen's earlier work. Because, well, first of all, oh gosh, sorry. This one. So this is the Super Meat Boy comic zine that was sold in around the time of the release of Super Meat Boy. I have a copy of this in my hands too, although it's a later revision called number 2.5, which is slightly different to this. But this is a little history of Meat Boy. A tale of lies and half-truths detailing the humble origins of America's last hope in the fight against terrorism. Oh, by the way, I should note up front that this stream may contain content that could be considered unsuitable for young viewers. There's a lot of Edmund McMillen's work that's kind of crude and edgy. There's potentially the use of slurs and cartoonish gore. So yeah, discretion is advised. Anyway, in this sort of half-true history, once upon a time there was an independent game designer who made Flash games online. Let's call him Edmund. Oh, hello. Edmund was contacted by a fellow developer named John, who wanted to make a simple platformer with him, something very challenging with a retro vibe. Edmund suggested it be about a boy made of meat, and John said, why not? Edmund and John fell in love, and a month later Meat Boy was born. How can we exploit our new baby, they thought. So they cut him up and pushed him into a computer. 3 days later their Meat Boy baby was reborn on newgrounds.com. The response was amazing. Within a month, Meat Boy had been played over 4 million times. Remember that number, we're going to come back to that later on. Uniting nations around the world. Shortly after, Edmund would get a phone call from Nintendo. This is the craziest part of the story to me. Nintendo, actively courting the developers. Hold on. I'm going to adjust my microphone here. Apparently I'm peaking a lot. Okay, that looks a little better. We like the cut of your jib, boy. How'd you like to develop your games for the Wii? Says Mr. Nintendo. Golly, says Edmund. But Edmund was poor and simple-minded. How could he acquire the cash dollar box for a development kit? And who had the brain power to develop for console? Idea. Edmund would simply release a map pack just like the mainstream does and juice his audience for just enough money to buy the kit. Oh, and also Edmund met Tommy, an expert programmer who was awesome. Edmund and Tommy fell in love. 2 months later, Nintendo sent them a kit. And Tommy lived illegally in their office, working on the newly titled Super Meat Boy non-stop day and night till his brain broke. The end. Now, the 2.5 release of the comic that I'm holding has a different final panel that says, Tommy stayed at Edmund's house in his quote-unquote cat room, and Danielle is also present in the frame. And then there's a whole extra page that says, suddenly Edmund fell ill and was hospitalized. Tommy says, no! But Edmund cheated death and they got right back to work. Then the phone rang. It was Mr. Microsoft. "You're putting Super Meat Boy on Xbox Live," says Mr. Microsoft. Right away, the team was on the job. They knew they could do it. Then this place calling itself IGF nominated SMB for their grand prize. What the hell was going on? Could this little Meat Boy save Edmund from his hospital debt and cure Tommy's diabetes? Only time will tell. Oh, also Tommy's head blew up. So that was based on extra information that happened in between the WiiWare plans and Super Meat Boy's actual release, where it eventually ended up on the XBLA marketplace and got the IGF award or nomination. I don't know if it won. Yes. It never ended up coming out on WiiWare, which is the funny epilogue to that story. But what we're going to do, by the way, Neo Prism is in chat, so I haven't acknowledged you yet. Hello. They're saying, I love the MB saga, although lately I've lost interest in the last game and the change of composer of the soundtrack. Yeah, I'll have things to say about that later, but I want to keep on with this intro so we can get to actually playing a game. Anyway, we're going to revisit panel 2 here, where Edmund was contacted by a fellow developer named John, who wanted to make a simple platformer with him. Now we know a little bit more about that story thanks to another compilation. So I was talking about the Basement Collection, released in 2012, now available on Steam for Windows and Mac. But an earlier release, it's called This Is a Cry for Help. And here's a bit of artwork about it. A collection of games, comics, and art by Edmund McMillen celebrating 10 years of artistic independence. It's a very similar collection. It's got some of the same content, comics and illustrations, some of the same games, but it's a lot more comprehensive about the Flash games that Edmund made between 1998 and 2008. So this was released in 2008. It doesn't have the nice front end of the Basement Collection though. It's kind of just a collection of files on a disk, and it's not available anymore, but you can get it from archive.org, where all the content of it is up there archived for posterity. So Meat Boy, the Flash game, is included on This Is a Cry for Help, but there's earlier material in there as well. Where's my folder for this? Sorry. Yep, here it is. I didn't have this up beforehand. So in the Meat Boy folder, you get, the file for playing the game in Flash, which you can do if you have a standalone Flash player, like install of some kind. It's still doable in this day and age, but you can also play Meat Boy directly through archive.org if you want to do it that way. Or you can use Flashpoint, and I'll get to that later as well. But included in the This Is a Cry for Help CD is an extras folder. I guess I should show you this. This one. So there's a lot of cool stuff here. Some bits of artwork. Gotta capture this too. Hold on. This one? No? Let's just do this. So this is what you get. A picture of Bandage Girl, some background tests, up close on Dr. Fetus. Oh, that's very small. Hold on. Oh, there we go. A version of Meat Boy. This is sort of an early design, but an even earlier design can be seen in this little file, an SWF file called Meat Ninja. So the original conception of Meat Boy was Meat Ninja, and Meat Ninja is an unlockable character in Super Meat Boy and Super Meat Boy Forever. But when John came to Edmund with the idea, this was Edmund's first go at what Meat Boy would look like. As for the game that John had a prototype for, it's called Vertigo, and it's also included in the what's it called again? In the This Is a Cry for Help collection. So we'll click on this, and then I'll capture that one so we can just see that. There we go. Perfect. Instructions doesn't work. I don't think map creation probably works very well. I haven't tried it. Okay, never mind. So these are all features, and the interface here is pretty much identical to what Meat Boy would eventually be. But by playing campaign, there's like a series of kind of test maps, and this is the original version of Meat Boy. Whoops. Did I not? Oh, it's this button. Yep, I've got a Joy to Key profile set up. So we're still playing the music from the menu of the Basement collection here because there's no sound associated with this Vertigo demo game. But this is the original version of Meat Boy, and yeah, if you're familiar with Meat Boy, you might find some of this familiar. Oh. How do I get to the other levels? I did not test this. I'll just quit it and start it again. If you're familiar with only Super Meat Boy... Oh, maybe that did put me onto level 2, but it starts very similarly. Yeah, you might be surprised by the sort of style of the original Meat Boy. It's much more vertically oriented. It's in this small, narrow frame. And yeah, vertically oriented platformers are kind of rare compared to their horizontally scrolling siblings. So it's interesting to see the focus of it being on that. Maybe even more so in this initial Vertigo prototype. So this is my first time playing this. But the control, it feels very similar to what Meat Boy ended up becoming, and Super Meat Boy beyond it. Edmund talks a little bit in the interview in the Basement collection about John didn't really do much after this in games because his skills were very focused on Flash. Oops, I've fallen down too far. Now I can't see myself. It doesn't like respawn you at that point or anything. Okay, I'm gonna relaunch the game. So when he was making the sequel, Super Meat Boy, he had to find a new collaborator, and that was Tommy Refinez. I can actually make this bigger. Okay. Oh, now it looks weird. It's got like a thing on the side. Whatever. What was that? Level 5? Okay. So yeah, John did a serviceable job with this Flash game in this kind of tile-based framework that existed. But yeah, he had to bring on someone else when expanding it into a larger scope game. Alright, this one was called Red. Ah, we finally get the hazards coming in. You died. Oops. So we're gonna try wall jumps here. Oh. I love being a red square. This is the prototype that John presented to Edmund at the time, and said, hey, I want to make this game with you. And Edmund said, well, coincidentally enough, I have a character who is a red square that I've been thinking of. Essentially, a red square. And yeah, through development of it, that's how he made Meat Boy. There we go. Get the rhythm down. Nuts. We'll get there. I just replayed Super Meat Boy recently, and it was a blast playing through that again. I've showed it on stream a little bit for various things. I don't think I'll be playing it today. But yeah, I got through the whole thing, minus a few Dark World levels that I just ignored. And by the end I had 4,000 deaths, so I don't know if that's good or bad, but expect a lot of deaths in my gameplay today. I was hoping this wouldn't take too long. But we did have a lot of preamble. There we go. Oh, I'll get it, don't worry. I was just really interested in seeing the very first origins of Meat Boy, and we're lucky that they were preserved in this way, that Macmillan put them out in that collection, and then that collection was preserved on archive.org. Like I said, it's not available anymore. The basement collection kind of replaced it in a way. It does have a lot of the same stuff on there. Ugh. But a lot of the older games aren't in the basement collection. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff. Oh, really? That's really tight, that jump up there, because the hitbox is very strict. Maybe I should try going from right to left and skip that upper portion, but I don't feel like I can make it with my jump height. Yeah, see? Oops. While I'm playing this, there's a commentary file, which is interesting. Like, every folder in the This Is a Cry for Help collection has a little bit of a text file with some notes about the game. So here's what that text file says. Oh, I was sure that might work. Meet Meat Boy. He's the protagonist of his self-titled debut, cleverly named Meat Boy, a more traditional quote-unquote hardcore platformer in the same vein as Ghosts and Goblins, Mega Man, and N. N is great. N's another Flash game from the time that Edmund, I guess, was fond of. The N Ninja was included as a playable character in the console releases of Super Meat Boy. Back to the text file. You play as the unlikely hero in search of your love interest, Band-Aid Girl, who was later renamed to Bandage Girl, by the way, who's been kidnapped by a fetus in a jar wearing a suit and a monocle. When 17-year-old John Mcentee came to me with a very tiny little platformer engine where a little red box jumps around on walls, I knew I had to work on it with him. Meat Boy came together in less than 3 weeks and features a map editor, so users can create their own levels. A map pack for Meat Boy is scheduled for release in late 2008, as of the time of printing this CD. Find all the Band-Aids, 24, to unlock something very, very special, and we'll be trying to do that when we get to Meat Boy itself. Meat Boy features 4 unlockable characters. Meat Boy was thought by many to be an anti-meat game. It's not, but hey, whatever gets you off. Come on! Alright, I'm skipping this level, I'm sick of it. Luckily we can do that by just going forward, blue tiles. Okay. So here we've got projectiles happening, much like the launched saw blades that you see in later iterations of this game. Oops. Well, that's close. Yay, I made it. Okay, the next one. Oh. I feel like I'm gonna have to wall jump. You get a little bit more height with a wall jump than you do with a standing jump. At least in Super Meat Boy. Whoops. Might be able to make it though. My instincts are so honed on Super Meat Boy right now that any differences in the engine for the original game might throw me off a little bit. Ugh. But I love seeing behind the curtain on this, seeing the game in its very earliest stages. It's fascinating. Are you kidding me? Why didn't I make it that time? Did I not hold the button down long enough? Yeah, be prepared for lots of deaths. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. Okay. Yeah, see? Oh, okay. Very, very precise platforming required up here. You serious? Any intersection of your hitbox with the red is a death. It's pretty harsh. Okay, nope. Okay. Oh, what? Come on. Oh, Gibbon's here. She says, I'm awake. Forgot to set an alarm on my after-work nap. Oops. Well, glad to have you here. This is a prototype for the original Meat Boy. It's called Vertigo, just as a working title. This is what John Mcentee sent to Edmund McMillen, saying, hey, I have this prototype, let's work on a game together. And then together they fleshed it out. They added the character designs that Edmund had been working on, and that's how we got the Meat Boy we know today. But the feel of the game, the interface of the game, as you can see in the top menu, they're all very much intact for what the final version of Flash Meat Boy would be. So that's pretty interesting. Gibbon says she can see the influence. Yeah, well, this is basically Meat Boy pre-alpha version 1 or whatever. So it's more than an influence at this point. Oops. Like, I feel like John would have just directly worked on this existing product here, not that it's a product. But yeah, this Flash file is included in a pre-basement collection called This Is a Cry for Help that Edmund put out on CD in 2008. Oof. Before the release of the Meat Boy map pack. Okay. Oh no! It's so slippery. But that's what I love about Meat Boy. Like, it's really precise, but the controls are finicky, but once you master them, it's very satisfying. Okay. I feel like maybe they did tweak them slightly from Vertigo to Meat Boy. Definitely Super Meat Boy is more refined. Okay. Just gotta be careful. Yes. No! Alright, I'm skipping this level too. In the interest of getting to the main event faster. So that was Ed's map. Now we'll do yellow tiles. Ah, these are the crumbling blocks. They're going to disappear after you step on them. So some of them are pretty simple, just showcasing a certain concept. And that one's got the conveyor belts, easy enough. Oh, okay. Bit of a challenge one now. I promise, I'm decent at Meat Boy. I was just saying before, I cleared Super Meat Boy with 4,000 deaths, but I don't know if that's good or not. And I did skip a few levels. I didn't do all the Dark World. Nuts. Got to slide on that last block a little bit longer. Oops. Gibbon says she is absolutely not decent at Meat Boy. I hope you can still get something out of the game club this month then. There we go. Done and done. And you do not advance from this screen because there's no other levels to play. Just going to look up what that one was called. That's John's map. Okay. So yeah, that's just a little taste of what Meat Boy started out as. I also showed this little animation, which is the original version of Meat Boy, Meat Ninja. But now that we've done that... Oh, I should show you one more thing. There's another file in here in the This Is a Cry for Help collection called Meat Boy Game Boy version. But when you open that up, it's actually just... hang on a sec. Now that we're in a game that has music, we can mute the basement collection. We'll come back to it. It's just a version of Meat Boy Flash with cruder monochrome graphics. It's not really a Game Boy ROM, and it's not really Game Boy style. It's just slightly Game Boy-esque, we might say. So yeah, it looks like that. So now let's play the real thing. So we're going to swap back to the basement collection and play it through that. It's a decent way to play the game. Okay. So yeah, here we can see little representations of Edmund, John, and Darry Baranowski, who did the soundtrack. Just like for the original release of Super Meat Boy. Okay, so I think I've covered everything I wanted up to this point. So let's play Meat Boy, the original Flash prototype. And here you have Edmund McMillen and Jonathan Mcentee. Together they were known as Team Mick, which Mick is kind of a slur for Irish people, and Edmund notes in the interview, which was available on that top page, that that's kind of intentional. Like, he acknowledges that they both have Irish heritage, and that's part of the reason he picked that as a name, and that they both have Mick in their name. But when it came time for publishing on a Nintendo platform, I don't know if Nintendo asked them to, or they came up with the alternate name Team Meat for the production of Super Meat Boy, which does not contain a slur, and so is superior. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. I'm a little nervous about embarrassing myself with this, but we'll see. Gibbons noting in chat. Oh, hang on. Yeah, let's begin by getting used to the basic controls. Try reaching Band-Aid Girl in the top right corner, which is spelled differently than how Edmund spells it in the text file in This Is a Cry for Help, but if you're familiar with Edmund's work, you'll know that he's terrible at spelling. There's always typos everywhere. So yes, wall jumping. Don't feel obligated to beat every single one. Oh, but I am. I am so obligated. Anyway, Gibbon was saying in chat that she absolutely adores all of McMillen's work. Okay. I love these little flavor tips. And now we have the screen scrolling like we saw in Vertigo. It's a little bit faster though. Okay. Yes, so Gibbon was saying she loves McMillen's work, owns everything available on Steam, plus several things that his stuff has cameoed in, like Retro City Rampage and their Virtual Meat Boy sub-game. Yeah, I'm sad that I will not be able to show off Virtual Meat Boy today on the stream because I don't own Retro City Rampage on PC. I only own it on 3DS, and that's how I played it originally. It's probably the best way to experience that particular minigame. So Virtual Meat Boy was a minigame in Retro City Rampage, which is a Grand Theft Auto style game. Lol at the people who think this game is vegetarian propaganda. We will revisit this concept later. Yeah, so Retro City Rampage has a lot of cameos from other indie games, much the same way that Meat Boy and Super Meat Boy do, which is something I love about them. This includes minigames, so yep, stay away from the buzzsaws. You can play a Meat Boy themed minigame in an arcade in Retro City Rampage, which is Virtual Boy style, so it's red and black, has 3D visuals if you manage to play it that way. It does have a color separated 3D mode if you have red-blue 3D glasses on the PC version. As far as I can recall, it supported the 3DS's native 3D visual thing. And then if you do well enough in Virtual Meat Boy, you unlock Meat Boy himself as a playable character for the main game. Oops, that's my first death, I think. It's okay, we're basically going through the tutorial at this point. Meat Boy's skeleton falling down after a death is a kind of feature that was in the original Meat Boy that did not appear in Super Meat Boy. Oh, come on. Ugh. So that's just something to note, as well as the vertically oriented level design. It's one of the differences for this original game. Yeah, Virtual Meat Boy is pretty cool. It's not really the same gameplay style. It's you running into the screen down a road, avoiding buzzsaws. So it has some similarities, but... oh, come on. Yeah, that's happening a lot. And there's also tons of bandages to collect, unlike in these other games, the main games, where there's only usually one per level. Okay, I'm doing this the stupid way. Let's be smart about this. We'll just run off here and then... yeah, perfect. Oh, we got an achievement, because we unlocked the blue castle crasher. Alright. So that's one of the guest characters here. Okay. Let's try out the Castle Crasher. So Castle Crashers is another popular Newgrounds Flash game. Oh, it's leaving blue residue behind. It seems like they play very similarly to Meat Boy himself. It's just a visual change. I've never played Castle Crashers, actually. Maybe I should give it a try. But that's also a cameo in Super Meat Boy. So you see the sort of gradually introducing all the mechanics that we saw in Vertigo. Meat is murder. Tasty, tasty murder. Okay. Nope. I thought I could risk it. Yeah, as for Gibbon participating in the game club, she says that she's already got the Basement Collection installed, or it was already installed. Has been for like a decade. Yeah, it's a great little collection, very well presented, and has some really interesting experimental Flash games in there that I would recommend trying out. I thought I might try some of them on this stream if I had time, but I don't know if I will have time. But some are kind of relevant to Super Meat Boy in that they have similar influences or aesthetics. I might show that part at least. But Ether I find really interesting in its mechanics. And I'm not sure what's going on in the story yet, but it seems pretty interesting. I've had a little go at it. I also have really enjoyed Time Fook, which is a puzzle platformer with some basic similarities to Super Meat Boy in some ways, but a really interesting story and cool iteration on this kind of world-swapping mechanic. Alright, so we've cleared all the forest levels now, which means we've entered the Salt Factory. It's interesting how Meat Boy's skin is sort of translucent in this original version of the character design. So you can see his ribcage through his skin, or his lack of skin, I should say. Famously, Meat Boy has no skin. And that's why he's such a good match with Bandage Girl, because opposites attract, or something. Or it's ironic or something. Edmund kind of covers this in the interview, or the Q&A. Oh. Hi Captain, how's it going? Captain will be muting and watching while at work. Well, don't get caught. This game's very violent. Okay, let's try the wall jump from here. Yep, that's the way to get the height. They're shooting little salt projectiles, which is interesting. You don't see that in Super Meat Boy. Another thing that's different between the two, actually, if you're more familiar with Super Meat Boy, there's no run button in this. Meat Boy has one speed that he moves, which actually helps, I think, making the game a little simpler. It's just one more thing you don't have to worry about, you know? He also had an explanation for the salt factory and why it exists. This is sort of nebulously set in the future. Oh boy. Gibbon says, oh yeah, I might prefer that. What was that about exactly? Sorry, that you prefer? But yeah, the reason why there's all this salt, this is kind of nebulously set in a future where about the run button? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get that. The run button is less necessary on the vertically oriented levels because you're mostly going up. But Meat Boy's walking speed is already pretty fast. And it's just, yeah, like I said, one less thing to worry about in the level design, whether you're running or not. Most of the time you can get away with just running all the time in Super Meat Boy. So it's not a huge deal, but yeah, like I said, it's just one little thing about this that makes it a little simpler to deal with. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so in the future, it's a highly industrialized society, and they have started to evaporate the oceans, like the entire ocean, and he's not sure why they need so much salt in this future, but they're kind of exploiting the entire ocean at once to get these vast quantities of salt. Okay. Yeah, the pushing power of these conveyors is a lot stronger than in Super Meat Boy, where you would slide a lot if you fell onto one. But yeah, the art style here is like almost identical to Super Meat Boy, which is really cool because I love how Super Meat Boy looks. And that's all Edmund McMillen and his style coming through there. You can see that same style in some of his other games. Mostly in the old This Is Cry for Help collection. But he also heavily uses the monochrome look for certain games. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, if you get enough momentum, you can just skip. Oh. Ah, nuts. Okay, didn't quite get it that time. I shouldn't rely on that. Oof, tough. Okay. Nope. Yes. Woo! We're doing well. If I don't get all the bandages on my run through, I have a list of what levels they're in. I remember this level in Super Meat Boy. I hated this level. It's a lot harder in Super Meat Boy. Especially the Dark World version. No Dark Worlds in this one. What? What was that hitbox? This is going to be 100% run. I'm going to get all the bandages. Well, they are called band-aids in this version. When they were making the commercially released sequel, they decided to opt out of using a brand name. Gotta get that again. Nuts. That's it. You just tap those platforms, just kiss the edge. There we go. Oh, we actually unlocked Dr. Fetus already. That's great. Well, let's go check him out. Okay, so we're about halfway through. Whoops. Should have mapped escape to my controller. Whoops. Same particle effects. But Dr. Fetus leaves no residue behind. That's not fun. At least Castle Crasher had a blue trail. Alright, we'll finish the level out as Fetus and then we'll swap back to Meat Boy. Nuts. So yeah, I just did my playthrough of Super Meat Boy for the third or fourth time. I really love that game. Did that count or not? It did not. But this time I was playing on console. I was playing on my PS5. And the console release has a different set of unlockable characters. There's some overlap, but yeah. So there's no nausea, unfortunately. What? It said it was off, right? That's why I went back. See, it's off. Alright. It got a bit stuck, apparently. Okay, back as Meat Boy. This is not a mechanic that was in Super Meat Boy. The saw blades that become deactivated. Oh wait, how do I get over there? Oh, breakable blocks. I see. So I want to do this. Oh, what? Also the logic of having a salt trail just suspended in midair does not really work. Okay, yeah, so last time I featured Super Meat Boy on a stream was when I was playing Aquaria-related games, because Naja is an unlockable character. And I would have mentioned the replacement soundtrack at that time, because it's been patched in as an option on the PC version. It's your only option on console. At least for more modern releases, apart from the 360 release. But by playing through it this time, I sort of got used to it and came to appreciate its merits. I do regret losing Darren Baranowski's soundtrack, but the new one is pretty good too. Yeah, we can't just move across. I need to make a jump like this. Nope. Yeah. That was it. Gotta do a jump towards the wall first and then across through the air. There we go. Factory missile defenses. Oh noes. I could barely see the missile launcher. Alright. Missiles are easy enough to avoid once you get the hang of it. Salty dreams.
Oops. Okay. Oh, nuts. So this one's a bit tricky. Those missiles don't have much of a chance to get out and track you. Oops. Oh, okay. Missile launchers don't have collision. Oops. Oh, it got me. Rude. Yeah, you want to stick to the right wall, I think. Because then the missile launchers usually just go straight into that wall. Oh, not like that. Oh boy. Yeah, so after I played Super Meat Boy for the nth time, I then went ahead and finally got around to playing the sequel, the third game in the series, if you don't count the map pack, Super Meat Boy Forever. Made without the involvement of Edmund McMillen. Well, he had some involvement at the start of the process, but the whole thing was reworked at a certain point, and he's not credited in the final game. And he's also has pointed out on Twitter that he's not involved in what the final version of Super Meat Boy Forever was. No! That was poor timing on my part. Yeah, I didn't like Super Meat Boy Forever. It has problems. And lacking the distinctive Edmund McMillen look is not one of its problems. It is a factor in the character of the game, but I do like the new look of Super Meat Boy Forever. I think it looks great. That's the least of its problems. The fact is, it's a randomly generated auto runner, and neither of those things works well for a Super Meat Boy game. And those things are just fundamental to what the game is, and are fundamental to why I didn't enjoy it. So, yeah. The less time spent griping about Super Meat Boy Forever, the better. But let's just say I wouldn't recommend it, sadly. Because I really wanted it to be good. Oops. Yeah, climbing a wall is slower than the wall jump tactic. You know, a side effect of having randomly generated levels in Super Meat Boy Forever is that you can't speedrun it. And speedrunning Super Meat Boy is like a classic thing and part of the longevity of the game, I think. Oops. Damn. So, yeah. So this was originally released for Flash, right? On Newgrounds. It's a shame that Flash has widely been deprecated and isn't really available on the living internet anymore. And classic games like this are just one of the casualties of that. Fortunately, there have been efforts to preserve it. Like I said, you can play it in archive.org thanks to Ruffle, which is sort of a some kind of wrapper for Flash games that is still acceptable by modern browsers. It's not perfect, apparently, and if you have the standalone SWF file of this game, you can expand it. You can expand the window, and then you sort of see things off the side of the screen that you're not supposed to, with elements being drawn out there that shouldn't be seen in how the game's meant to be presented in this sort of portrait mode view. Those are visible in that Ruffle implementation. If you're playing the game just in a window. If you full screen it, it does look correct. It looks more like this. You can also play this game thanks to Blue Maxima's Flashpoint. It's been archived there, as well as the map pack. The map pack is available in the Basement Collection too, so as long as I get through this, you know, in decent time, I'll show maybe some of the map pack, maybe not all of it. What's the time? Yeah, the rate I'm going, there'll be many more deaths to come. Nuts. The map pack was not designed by, you know, Team Mick anyway, since it's composed of user-created level packs. Oh, I thought I could sneak through there. I might have to stall when I get to that section. Oops. That works too. I hadn't been doing that. Oh! I misinterpreted a background tile as a block I could jump on. There we go. Yeah, this level's still going. Okay, cool. Oh, we made it. That was crazy. Alright, we're up to the final level pack of the story. Hell. So, again, the level types are all carried over to Super Meat Boy with the addition of the hospital. And, of course, Rapture. What? Oh, that's a death block. I think it's not active all the time, though. Yeah, when it glows, it's deadly. But that's safe. Cool. Okay. Tiny conveyor. Okay, you gotta get off that wall before it hits the lava. Yeah, you die a lot in this game, but you don't mind, that's the thing. This music's a little softer, I'm gonna turn the audio up a bit. I want to quote to you now from the Super Meat Boy comic zine thing, which my copy is actually signed by, definitely by Edmund, maybe by somebody else. There's another kind of squiggle in there. I don't know if that's Tommy Reffin's signature. There's a section in here about risk reward in games, like the philosophy that went into the game design of Meat Boy and Super Meat Boy. like comparing to Donkey Kong, Lives 3, penalty, insert coin. For a hardcore platformer like N or Jumper is referenced here by Matty Thorson. We'll maybe talk about that in a future game, future stream. Lives infinite, penalty, restart level. Keep the level small, keep the action constant, have reward. Players should feel good about completing something hard. Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff, showing you some of the mindset that went into designing the game, as well as having fun little comics with the characters and such. So, I don't know if you can still get this comic, and there is not a scan of it online. There's a few pages on like a Kotaku review of when the thing was first released. There we go. So we'll just grab... Nope, missed it. Never mind. Sometimes with Meat Boy, with Super Meat Boy, you can cheese levels in interesting ways. Ah, nuts. You basically have to play the level twice perfectly to get the band-aid here. But I am up for it. There we go. I could probably make it back to that platform, actually. But the safer way is just to drop down. And then you do that. Anyway, I really like this philosophy of, yes, it gives you a hard challenge, but the penalty is basically nothing. Like, you don't lose anything by starting the level again, except for your minute progress in the level. And because the levels are so small, that penalty is almost zero. Like N was mentioned there. I really love N. That's a game I did get into when it was new, on Flash. Okay. And then when it was re-released as N+, I got that on the DS. And then I got N++ on the PS4, which I think has now been delisted, sadly. But I do really recommend N. It's very cool. Super Meat Boy is sort of even further in that direction of not punishing the player at all, because N has sets of levels that you complete in one go. And by the way, I could not do all of N. At a certain point, it just gets too hard, and everyone has that limit, so there's no shame in it. Ugh. It just so happens that my particular skills is just good enough to beat Super Meat Boy with a bit of hard graft. I wonder if I've ever done all the Dark World levels, because I didn't do it on this current playthrough. Nor did I unlock the kid from I Want to Be the Guy, which is certainly part of that lineage as well. I've said before that I never really completed I Want to Be the Guy, but I got right up to the end. But I have unlocked the kid on a version of Super Meat Boy at some point. I have the Steam achievement to prove it. But trying to do it again more recently, it was... it was more than I was willing to put up with. Okay. Oh good, stop scrolling. That was getting really tight. Come on. Yeah. No! Close. I could have gone a little higher. I was a little worried about bumping my head on the ceiling above, which would have interrupted my jump. No. You have to play this first part pretty much perfectly. Go a little bit higher. Yeah, so Jumper is called out in that little design treatise there. That's a game that I am looking into, probably streaming next week. It's basically what Matty Thorson made before making Celeste. And Celeste also part of this same lineage of ultra-hard platformers that are still accessible Are you kidding me? What's the problem there? Am I not holding jump long enough? Maybe I should stand on that little edge. I'm a little worried about hitting that lava accidentally. The wall jump method seems safer, but maybe less sure. No! Oof, it's okay, we'll get there. Just gotta be chill about this kind of thing. Like, I'll do it eventually. It'll just take a few tries. And that's okay, no matter how many tries you take. You're not punished for it at all. In fact, in Super Meat Boy at least, dying more times is almost a reward, because then you get like a more fun and satisfying end replay state, where it shows you all the lives that you spent layered on top of each other. Not a feature of this Flash version, obviously. That's another thing that doesn't work about Super Meat Boy Forever. Not to harp on it, but it's just not quite the same when you're doing like a really long level that has checkpoints. It doesn't quite feel the same to have a replay with all your lives on that. It's still cool to some extent, but not as cool. Okay. Oof, okay. Finally. Done. So we've unlocked the final level set now by doing enough of the hell levels, but I'll do them all, because I can. Oh boy. Yeah. You don't want to use your arrow keys at that point. You're just desperately tapping. Oh, okay. That's it. Oh, I am using a controller, by the way, with a joy-to-key profile set up. You've only got arrow keys, and really then only left and right, and space to jump for this version of Meat Boy. But once again, joy-to-key is a lifesaver. I would not be able to get this far using a keyboard. Okay, yes. Oh, come on. I could probably save that if I fell off by moving to the right, but if you move to the right... If you move to the right and you haven't fallen off to your death, then you're actually more likely to fall off to your death, so yeah. And it's a very small window of reaction. Alright, cool. Wait, what? What was that? A weird hitbox on the fireball? So John Mcentee walks into a bar, right? Ouch. Oh god. So here we've got a prototype of the Hell version of the rockets. They don't explode into clusters though, thankfully. That multi-blast sound is just complete blowout. It's terrible. Okay, okay. Oh no! Yeah. So the jumper games also have a guest character in Super Meat Boy, which I didn't mention yet. A very Super Meat Boy looking character called Ogmo, I have to look up the chronology on that because I'm not sure about it. But that's research I'll do for next week's stream. I want to play the jumper games before I play Celeste. Which again I will do off stream. For similar reasons to why I'm not playing Super Meat Boy on this stream. It's been done. I think everybody is familiar with Super Meat Boy. There's not much value in me playing it, but playing the original Meat Boy in a post-Super Meat Boy world has more value, I think, for highlighting niche games as I like to do. Oh, I didn't think that would get me. Oops. We can... Ah, nuts. I could make a save zone for myself, actually. There's no reason that we ever have to uncover the torpedo launcher on the right there. Ah, nuts. I think there's a bit of an area effect blast that can kill you, or its tracking is just a bit better than I thought. Ugh, bad timing. Okay. No! Yeah. Like, the torpedo levels are always interesting because they have that element of RNG or non-deterministic behavior where because of the tracking of the torpedo and the firing speed and everything, there's this emergent behavior of the torpedoes in relation to your performance in the level. So it's pretty different to ordinary levels of these games. It makes it interesting. But you can try and, like, you know, kite them and exploit their behavior. That's the key to dealing with them, really. Ugh. I need to make a ceiling for myself down there. But I'm not giving myself space to move enough. Okay. Didn't like that. Nuts. Ugh. Okay. That was my mistake. Oh. Really? Tell you what, one of the great additions for Super Meat Boy Forever to the series was the new character Nugget, who is absolutely adorable. She is the child of Meat Boy and Bandage Girl. There we go, that's what I wanted to do. And I've made a perfect umbrella for myself there. Keep me safe. And you get all these like high quality animated cutscenes in Forever, showing Nugget playing with Dr. Fetus and being a nuisance and stuff. It's really fun. It almost makes the boss fights bearable, because otherwise they suck. Sorry, I'm not going to go on about it. Oh, I didn't think I'd made that. This is the wall jump test. Yeah, as Gibbon says, Forever has good aspects to it. She says, it's just the core of it isn't as fun to play, unfortunately. I'd still like to unlock everything eventually, but I'm not in a hurry. Oh god, no. I swore off unlocking everything pretty quickly. Like, by playing through the story, you get 4 playable characters, including Bandage Girl at all times, which is really nice to have as part of the game. But there's like, I don't know, 30 extra unlockable characters, and by the end I had 1. So the requirements are just so much more stringent. I don't know why. Hold on. Get a wall jump here. Nope. Oh! What am I standing on? Okay. Ugh, yeah. You can just make that with a top jump. But yeah, like, what you've said, Gibbon, is exactly my thoughts on Forever. There's things to like about it, but the fundamentals, the core, just doesn't work. And that's a shame.
I would measure your enjoyment by your amount of swearing. There was a lot of swearing while playing that game.
And not the good kind of swearing.
No.
Gosh. No! Yeah, I just don't see myself ever unlocking everything the way you've said you want to, because it's too hard and annoying and tedious. Super Meat Boy was an enjoyable level of challenge, but what they want you to do in Forever, I just don't understand. And because the levels are so long, it makes them harder to replay to get the extra stuff, the unlockables. And the warp zones, like everything in the game, are randomly assigned. So I only ever found 1. It's just kind of a lot about it is a big old head scratcher. But again, this is not the forever bashing stream. What I am curious about, Gibbon, since you're apparently a big fan of Edmund McMillen and his work, I'd like to hear about some of his other games, because Super Meat Boy is really the only one I've played. So, like, would you recommend any of them to someone like me, knowing what games I like? Okay, there we go. Probably don't get enough height off those 2 blocks, so we gotta go down here. Oh. Okay, that band-aid is gonna be a problem. That's not too hard. Okay. Now... oh, okay, we just need less height off the conveyor to perfectly fit into that gap. So it'll take a bit of experimenting. Oh. See, that's an instance where in Super Meat Boy I would have let go of the run button to drop into that gap without overshooting it. Bit trickier to do in the original. Just have to tap it in. Okay, so we'll grab on about there. That's way too much. We only need a couple of blocks of height there. Nuts. Yeah. So Gibbon is talking about the other games available in the Basement Collection, and of those, her personal favorite, aside from Meat Boy, is Time Fook, which is a simple one-screen platformer that has some interesting switching back and forth between 2 versions of the stage mechanic that I'm not quite sure how to explain. Yeah, that's the one I've spent the most time with on Basement Collection. I think I'm about halfway through it. It's really interesting, isn't it? Both the like 2 version switching thing. It's like a dimensional swap that you can do at any time. Sort of like the game Shift, but different. Shift is good. I would recommend Shift pretty highly. Especially Shift 2. But yeah, it's also got interesting story elements where like you're communicating with a future version of yourself. And you're kind of stuck in this like weird dreamlike place. And there's lots of like visual glitching and stuff. So both mechanically and aesthetically, it's really interesting, basically. And yeah, I've been playing it myself. Oh yeah, Gish. That's interesting. Gish is a 2004 game that was McMillen's kind of first success. That before Meat Boy. Gish is even an unlockable character in the console versions of Super Meat Boy, with the same kind of abilities as the head crab from the original release. It's kind of a puzzle platformer. I'll let Gibbon explain it. She says, Gish, not in the Basement Collection, but available separately on Steam, is also a good one. It's a physics... Oh, okay. I think I rescued Bandage Girl, but didn't get to the end level trigger right there, which is interesting. Yeah, she says it's a physics-based platformer with a different pace to it than Meat Boy. You roll along a sitar blob and can adjust how smooth or sticky you are, and that affects your speed and jumps. Yeah, so it has this interesting mechanic where you change the properties of the blob to get through gaps and stuff. I gave it a go, like it was in one of the early Humble Bundles, so I got it then and I played it a bit then, but I never ended up getting to the end. Ah! Gibbon also says The End Is Nigh is another one that I like, and I would describe it as the Super Metroid to Super Meat Boy's Super Mario World. I understand what you mean, but it's difficult to say. It's got the same sort of challenges as Super Meat Boy, but the pace is more deliberate and methodical, and it's a big open world with backtracking. Arrgh! It's nuts. I gotta not hit that direction, I think. I want to try... I don't know what to try. This is tricky. Because there's only that one tile gap. It doesn't get any smaller than this. What if I do this? And then slip back down here. Yeah, it's got to be really minute adjustments. That's too much. I'm not sure how to do this. Arrgh! Yes, I did mention that I don't care for Binding of Isaac. Oh, that works. Okay, that's the key. Get on top and then do a little jump input when you're bouncing there. So Gibbon said about Binding of Isaac, if it is your thing, it's still getting content updates over a decade later. Good grief. And yes, Meat Boy is in it. as an item or something. If you don't know what it is, it's like a... It's like a dungeon crawler roguelike, but with twin stick shooter mechanics, which is a popular thing now, but I think it was sort of an innovator of the time when it was first released over a decade ago, as Gibbon says. And yeah, Mugenics. I remember hearing about Mugenics for years, and it's still upcoming apparently. Mugenics looks interesting. It started out as McMillen's take on Pokemon back in 2008, but got shelved. He came back to it at some point, and now it's more of a TRPG, tactical RPG like Final Fantasy Tactics, with character classes and grid-based combat. Wow. And it involves back-alley cat fights. Okay, cats. I do like cats, but I don't like TRPGs much. Yeah. That's always the thing about games and creators who want to experiment in different genres, but then I don't like all the genres, but that's okay. Something is allowed to not be for me. Oops. I do like Metroidvanias though, so out of all of them, The End is Nigh is probably something I'll be willing to check out. For some reason that wasn't on my radar at all. I'd barely heard of it. But having gotten a lot more back into Meat Boy in the past few weeks, I think it's something worth looking into. No! But you'll find lots of fun experimental stuff in the This Is a Cry for Help collection as well as the Basement collection, so I can recommend both of those. And they don't require much of a time commitment either. Basement collection especially is like really curated to these high quality games. Okay. No! That's really tight, getting in that gap. But I'll do it. I'll get there. I'm pretty sure I've got all the bandages up to this point too. I can check that afterwards. Yep. Nuts. Oof. No! Alright. Oh, okay. Given saying that Basement Collection is also kind of a good primer for Binding of Isaac because everything... it contains pretty much everything aside from Gish that gets referenced in Binding of Isaac. And I did notice on Steam that there's a big Edmund McMillen collection you can get that includes Super Meat Boy, Basement Collection, Gish, and all the different releases of Binding of Isaac, which there are a lot. I'm not sure which one you should really play if you're getting into it now, but probably just go with the most recent one and it'll most likely contain everything from previous releases. The fact that it has so many separate releases is kind of weird and confusing, but I need to hold left there, but like maybe not too much. It's tricky. Oh, okay, I didn't know that Isaac started with a Flash version. Similar to Meat Boy. But yes, it later got an expanded non-Flash version. It's on a lot of different consoles as well. I know that much. Oh, come on. I also know it's something that you can really get into and play a lot because it's a roguelike. And just play over and over again forever. Bugger me. I gotta hold left when I'm coming off that jump, I think. I'll try it out anyway. I've been scared to do that, so that's led to all my deaths whenever I've gotten the bandage so far. Okay. Oh, come on. You couldn't put one more block in there? Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, there's those deaths too, which are not due to my jumping off. Oh, okay. Gibbon is contradicting me, which I'm perfectly happy to accept since I know nothing about Binding of Isaac. She says if you're getting into it, she would recommend the original Flash version first to see if it's your thing, as it has a pretty finite pool of items and bosses, while the post-Flash version is gigantic, and you'll basically spend years unlocking everything and completing all the objectives and endings and whatnot. Yeah, that's probably a good recommendation then. As far as the tone of it, that's something that puts a lot of people off. They find it quite gross. And like, Super Meat Boy has this to it a little bit, with, you know, some levels, you know, there's poo everywhere, and like the concept of the splashing gore everywhere and like cartoonish violence. It has that to it. Binding of Isaac goes further in that direction. The tone is kind of darker, and while it looks like very kind of cute and cartoony, it's that juxtaposition, I think, that gives it its tone. Oh, come on. Yeah, where it looks cute but also has dark stuff going on. Like, the story of it is all about abuse, domestic abuse, religious abuse. Like, it's really, it's like, the story is dark, but also how it's presented can be off-putting. Yeah, so like, I'm thinking back to the cutscenes of Super Meat Boy, and imagine that, but less funny, basically. And you'll see that a lot in McMillen's early comics work, which is on these two collections that I've been talking about, where it can be quite crude and like shock humor sort of thing, which I don't really go in for these days. But it was, yeah, okay, that's it. That's what I gotta do, but let go of the left button at the right time. Okay. But of course, that kind of humor was all the rage at the time. I'm not going to have much time to put into the map pack at this rate. Playing through this game takes a little longer than I expected. That's okay. Oh, Gibbon is elaborating on more Binding of Isaac stuff. She says, the original and its first expansion, Wrath of the Lamb, are in Flash. Oh, I didn't know that. And then Rebirth is the remake version, and all the later expansions are for it, and didn't get backported to the Flash version. Okay, now I finally understand a bit about the release of it. And then Repentance is the latest expansion to Binding of Isaac that came out last year. Supposedly the final one, but I don't know if I believe it, says Gibbon. I agree. Among all the additional content, it adds 2 more endings, bringing the total up to 22, and ending 22 is gotten from defeating the Beast, who is described as the true final boss, and is supposedly the actual, true, super real, we mean it this time ending that closes out the game's story. Oh, this is it. This is my chance. I did it! Finally! Oh my gosh. I've unlocked Gish, and we talked about Gish already. It doesn't have its... excuse me. It doesn't have all its abilities that it did in its base game, or even all its abilities that it had in Super Meat Boy, I assume. Oof. Thank you for the claps. Okay, so we're up to 666, a few more levels to go, and then the expert chapter. Gosh. So here's Gish, with a black slime behind. Oh, that noise is something else. Hold on. Turning down the game audio. Sorry if that's too much for you. Whoops. Oh! How did that get in there? Okay. Oh. Nope. That was never gonna work. Oh. Oh! I jumped in my chair. Have you seen all the endings to Isaac Gibbon? Sorry, I heard a postie, but I think he's at the next door neighbors. Oh, I thought it might come down there. Nope. Okay. No, she hasn't. Yeah, that was dumb. I think I could have done it that time. The physics are slightly different to Super Meat Boy, which is like throwing off my muscle memory a little bit in this stage where really quick reactions are required. Oh no, that was almost it. I might just be able to climb the right wall once I get there. What? Come on. Yeah, something's off in the physics here. No! Gibbon has seen a decent chunk of the endings, but as of like 2 expansions ago, the game just has way more content than I can handle, she says. Yeah. Okay. What? No! Oh, okay, that wasn't quite safe. Oops. Yeah, I don't know about that one. What? I'm not sure how I died then. I think it was one of those things with the teeth. Oh no, I've started dropping a lot of frames. Hope that's okay. I did a speed test today and it seemed okay. But it could always dip unexpectedly. That is the nature of the beast. Here in Australia we call the internet the beast. Yeah. Gibbon has no idea how someone would go into Isaac organically these days and unlock everything. It's odd. It feels like the game was just such a cash cow that he had no choice but to keep making content for it and re-releasing it. Similar to the justification for making Super Meat Boy, and he talks about this in the Q&A, the reason why out of all the games that he's made and all the cool experimental stuff that he's done that's out there, the reason why he chose Meat Boy to expand into a fully fleshed retail game is because it was by far the most successful. They mentioned in the comic history of the game thing that it had 4 million downloads in a month or something, or plays, not downloads. And just the sheer numbers, the sheer popularity meant that it made good sense to make a full commercial product out of it. That's what the people want. Okay. Let's see if I can shortcut this. Alright. The jump. Yeah, it's kind of dropping jump inputs at certain points, maybe? Or it could be something in my stack of controller to joy to key to keyboard to wrapper to flash. I'm not sure what's going on between Basement Collection and the Flash games, but yeah. You can find some, well, there's some extra games in the files of the Basement Collection. They're supposed to be unlockable, but you can just go into wherever the files are stored on your Steam install and find them there, because, yeah, there's like a handful of extra earlier Flash games that are in there. Club of the Seal and a couple of Weltlings games, I believe, which are sort of how would you describe them? Kind of like shooter games where you're this weird grotesque creature shooting out blobs at monsters that are falling down. It's part of this so-called Badlands universe that McMillen was developing, that a lot of his games and comics tied into, that were like an expression of, I don't know, stuff about his life or something. Okay. Oh, really? I've got to that point before. There's a few ways I can approach this. But... oh, okay. Gibbon says, I feel like he kind of got actively annoyed with the Binding of Isaac community for a while there. One of the expansions had a big alt-reality, like ARG tie-in, that the community was supposed to band together and figure out how to receive hints on, how to unlock the new final character, and instead, data miners just... data miners just went in and figured it out within an hour of the expansion's release and posted about it everywhere, and Ed got really upset with folks and pretty much stopped communicating with fans for a while. Yeah, that sucks. The next big update was modding tools and a general fine, you can do it yourselves vibe. But after some time had passed, he cooled off and was like, okay, you all have a lot of good ideas. And he collabed with content creators to bring out Repentance last year. Oh, that's interesting. That's a bit like the map pack here for Meat Boy, leveraging community creation to like package the best of it together. I will show off a bit of the map pack. Yeah, obviously I can't just head up that way because the bloody things are just too fast. They go off too often. I think the key is getting to that little safe cave over there and then popping up over here, and then that was so close. I thought I might just sneak in. Apparently not. There we go. Easy peasy. See? That wasn't hard at all. It was very hard. I'm gonna switch back to Meat Boy now, because that is my preference. 8 more band-aids. Okay, I have committed to this. I'm gonna do it. Wait, what? Oh, there was more breakable stuff I hadn't noticed. It blended into the background. Oops. Hopefully it's coming through. Yeah, like, the good thing about this is because the screens are mostly locked off, it shouldn't be too hard on stream bandwidth. Alright, so I'll actually pause on this platform. Oh, bugger. See, we're laughing again. That last one was a bit of a slog, huh? Oh, nuts. That works. Yeah, patience. That's the key. Oops. I could probably turn the game up a little bit again, now that we don't have that incessant explosion noise. I love this history lesson on Binding of Isaac. Hold on, Gibbon says, Binding of Isaac was so popular at one point that, whoops, that there was a racing league called Binding of Isaac Racing League, BOIRL. Or whatever. Yep. No. Okay. That went several seasons and even gained official Twitch sponsorship for a while, but the whole Ed versus the community thing kind of killed the league because the organizers were being petty about it, unfortunately. Oh, that sucks. That's really too bad. She used to watch that a lot back in 2013 or so. So would they all, would the race be people on the same seed competing? Because that's kind of an interesting way to to do a form of speedrunning for roguelikes. So you could do that with Forever. Excuse me. Oh, it's pronounced boiler. Okay, that's fun. BOILR League Racing League or whatever. Whoa, close. All right, good. Now, ooh, no. Okay, only a few more levels to go. And then we get the expert maps. Oh boy. Told you I'm half decent at Meat Boy. Now we have visual proof. Oh! Proof that I was lying, I mean. Obviously, I'm only quarter decent at best. I guess I did play a fair chunk of the game as Naja that one time, didn't I? How much? Yeah. Oh, really? The good thing about these games, when they're done right, is a lot of the time, like, you know why you died, you know why it was your fault, and you think, next time, I know what to do better. So it's a mark that the game's well designed. No, didn't get enough speed before I popped off to the right there. I wonder if I should jump. I should probably jump, shouldn't I? Yeah. Because... So there are a couple of different types of race in Boiler. Oh, come on. Yeah, jumping, not always the best option on these ones, actually. But maybe for the final jump. Some of the races were the same seed, but most of the time it was best of 3 or best of 5 to see who could get to any given ending first, or sometimes a specific ending. Alright, I'll try jumping, but I'm not sure. I jumped, but I don't know if it actually came off. Oof, okay. Oops. Hell's bells. The final cutscene, perhaps. There's the classic middle finger. Oh, he even mooned him. Oh no! Yeah, I remember reading about this. I did issue a warning about crude content. Yes, bandage girl, go, do it. Yeah. So that was the true ending of Super Meat Boy right there. He talked about a hot coffee ending. That might be like the final ending. But that wink is an indication, all that remains of the hot coffee concept, perhaps. Which then leads to Nugget in Forever. So Danielle McMillen, Edmund's wife, is thanked, as well as many other people who... Some of those are the creators of like the crossover games, like Castle Crashers. Oh great, we get Bendigo, that's lovely. We'll play as her in the expert chapter, that's perfect. I guess there's only the one crossover character in this early iteration of the game. I don't know what the final reward is, actually. Okay, here we go. Expert chapter time. I'm gonna do it. Band-Aid Girl has to save Band-Aid Girl. Oops. Oh. Yep, I saw that coming. Okay. No. Oh, Gibbon was responding to my comment about Super Meat Boy Forever. I'm not sure how Forever would do something like that, since it's still pretty linear progression, even though the level layouts are randomized. Yeah, I think the only way you could do it is by having two people running the same seed and just trying to do it better. Faster. No! I tried to drop into that gap, but it's probably better just to grab it and leave. Like that, but better. See, I jumped too far. I ended up back in the path. Oh! Bad timing. There we go. Easy peasy. Whoa. The music changed. Now it's a little bit loud. Yeah, so I guess the expert pack has levels in each of the different themes, which means we'll be getting different music coming in. Is that okay? Is the game too loud? Yeah, that's the way. Nailed it. And back to quiet. I'll just leave the volume where it is. It's going to be back and forth, I think. Ugh. Okay, thanks. Alright, watch that red glow. Flashes 3 times and then you're safe. Oh, this is a long one. What's next? Oh no! Don't quite like the marathon levels. It gets away from that whole philosophy we were talking about short levels, restarting quickly. The whole risk and reward loop thing. It's kind of the point of them to break from the format a bit, but it makes them less fun, in my opinion. Okay. Oh, what? That didn't look right. So we got to bait it out and then ascend the opposite side. Oh! Oh. When you think you've died, but you haven't. No, I wanted to land and then jump up from there, but I did a wall jump too early. Okay. Well, let me tell you about another game I've been playing, I guess. I'm playing another Eden again, because they keep updating that with new content too, just like Binding of Isaac. This is the mobile RPG with a story by the creator of Chrono Trigger that is kind of a sequel to Chrono Trigger, basically. But, like, officially, unofficially. I've just gotten to a part where Luca from Chrono Trigger is a character in the game and has just created a robot that looks exactly like Robo and is called Baby Robo. Or Korobo in Japanese, which is transliterated. And Gibbon and I had a good laugh about that. Part 3 is really hard though. They really are not pulling the punches at this point of the story, so I'm glad I got lucky in the gacha to get good characters that let me get through it easier. It's definitely the worst part of the game is having a gacha system, but at the same time it's pretty generous with it, and you don't really need to get the good characters to do the main stuff. But yeah, I just find it something that's very easy to play on my phone whenever I want. Oops. Gibbon hasn't even finished part 2. How far are you through part 2? Gibbon is also playing the game in a non-standard way where she is trying to clear the story only using story characters. Which, if you want to get them to be like good, you do need to do a lot of grinding in optional areas to upgrade them. The easy way to get good characters is to play the Chrono Cross crossover story, which is a very substantial update to the game. It seems they were very excited about it since that's like part of the universe that the game is in and inspired by. So yeah. But also the characters you get in it are very good. I think it also does a good job of being a traditional RPG experience that's on a phone. Yeah, it has a Steam port too, but I feel like phone is really its home. Because you can play it on a computer, sure, but that's not really what it's designed for in its UI and everything, I think. Anyway, the story's good and it's fun to get all the things. Collector mindset, you know. Huh. Why did I have enough momentum coming off that few tiles to get up there? Alright. No! That's really annoying, actually. Okay, Gibbon is a few chapters into part 2. She's playing a lot less since transferring it off old phone onto PC version. Although she does now have a better phone with a lot more memory. That would help, yeah, for sure. It takes up a lot of space too. Dang. Yeah, Gibbon agrees it does a really good job of being a standard JRPG you can just play and ignore the gacha if you want. I agree. At least for part 1, she adds. If you want to do part 2 with story characters only, it starts getting a bit tricky. Yeah. I moved off story characters only not long into my own playthrough. And then I just got better non-story characters. What? Come on. I don't think that should have hit me. Yeah. But you get lots of free opportunities to get better characters. Which I know is what everyone says about every gacha game, but whatever. I haven't actually played many gacha games, so I don't know how well I can compare it, but it's not like it's a game where the only way you're ever gonna do anything is by, like, cranking that slot machine arm over and over again, you know? It's a proper RPG with a story. It's just that I guess they had to make money off it, so they have the whole gacha thing. But I view the gacha thing as like an extra to what the game is, if that makes sense. I don't like that. It's too centrally located. It's just too easy to get hit by it. Gibbon is now considering the Chrono Cross characters as story characters. Guess we should say with non-gacha characters, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Gibbon is comparing it to Nier Reincarnation. That's true. I did play Nier Reincarnation for a while, so I can compare it to that, and it's better than that. It's certainly better than that. God, the grinding in that game. Nier Reincarnation seems more like what the traditional idea of a gacha game is. Which I would say Another Eden is not quite like that. Gibbon says she was sad that Reincarnation got to a point that she was like, meh, I don't want to spend time on this anymore. Yeah, it's always sad when you get to that point. She says she wasn't really feeling the Sun Moon storyline. Honestly, I stopped playing before the Sun Moon storyline got implemented, so I haven't seen any of that. Because I kind of played to an ending, you know, and it felt like an ending. And then they just kept adding more stuff, so I don't know. Because there's a story in it, and like, there were 2 parts to this story that kind of reflected each other, and then once I got to the end of that, I felt like that was a natural point to stop. Come on! Oh. Yes, that's true. There are also special events, and Gibbon says that they got shark jumpy. Yeah, I'm thinking especially the Final Fantasy XIV collab event, which, yeah. And which doesn't even relate to the story of Reincarnation at all. Felt very superfluous. Nope. Just gotta ride it all the way to the top, I guess. Bit more. Yeah, that worked. Okay. So you gotta get high enough for it to be on screen to start shooting. Crap. Yeah, Reincarnation is much more in line with traditional gachas, says Gibbon. And she hears that Genshin Impact is good as far as gachas go, in that they're very generous with the gacha and it's not super needed. So that sounds a lot like Another Eden. I know a lot of people play Genshin, so yeah, if you want something lower effort, or not lower, like lower player effort, like Another Eden is quite chill to play through compared to Genshin, at least my understanding of it. So I recommend that along similar lines about the monetization of it. Yes, 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 yes! Finally! My god. That was intense. Oh, there's a band-aid up there. Yeah, that's not too hard. They're all placed at the right height for wall jumping, more or less. My hands are getting sweaty. It is a hot day. There we go, and then you just gotta fall in the right spot. Thank you, thank you. No! No, it's so close. Did I win? Hardly. Chula! Gah. Alamarine! Drink this, it's the antidote. Oh, do I do a wall jump? I don't think I can get all the way to that wall. Something that Meat Boy does that Super Meat Boy didn't do is that... Wait, what just happened? Well, I'll take it. Yeah, you can jump off the wall boundaries of the screen in this game. Oh! Oops. Hiding the bandage right there is kind of sneaky, actually. But at least it's easy to pick up. Okay, I gotta take that a bit more seriously. Nope. I gotta cut that finer. Nuts. There we go. Done. Wait a minute. Am I gonna die if I fall down the bottom? Whoops. I think I am gonna die. That's okay. Done. Oh boy. Oh boy. Red is bad. Red squares. Remember the red squares from Vertigo. There we go. Now hopefully there's not a band-aid hidden under one of those collapsible boxes. They did that sometimes in SMB. Okay. Whoa! Oh, I didn't expect the one coming in from above. I forgot about it. Yes. Oh god. The explosion effects, they're back. It's okay, they've stopped now. Okay, that's easy. Oops. Oh, that's not so easy. Oh, okay. I actually need to jump off here to get there, because you don't have enough runway coming back down. Oh, that's actually pretty tricky. How do you do this? Obviously I need to start turning back earlier. Like that. But that's not quite it either, because I still fell off. Whoa. This is where the bonus characters in Super Meat Boy would come in handy with double jumps and so on. So the band-aids have a kind of bigger hitbox than you might think. So I might be able to just grab it a little bit early. Turn around like that. And yet I didn't get it and I still fell off and died. What the heck? Clearly I need to get it when it's as high up on the screen as I can get it. So I need to be good about jumping early. Yeah, that was almost it. Almost. There's got to be some kind of speed cap. I wonder how many blocks of conveyor you go up before you hit that cap. The fact that the screen locks in vertically is really annoying. That was never a thing in Super Meat Boy. But it was in Super Mario Brothers. Horizontally, of course. Look at that background. That's lovely. It's so well done. The scrolling of it. Oh, chef's kiss. Alright. What is that other platform for? It's too far off the bottom of the screen to land on when I'm at bandage height. Am I doing this right? I feel like I probably am. I just gotta do it at just the right time. Oh, okay. I'll use those little brick outlines as guide. So I'm just above that brick outline there, the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a little bit further above, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, so I was actually holding up there. And by holding up, it seems like you get more height when you leave the conveyor. Or is it just when you leave when you don't jump? Maybe that's it. Yeah, I'm not supposed to jump, I'm supposed to just float off. You get more height that way. And with height you can make the distance. And then you can get back. Okay, so you don't jump. No jumping needed. In fact, it hurts you. That was it. Okay, you need to jump when you get back to the wall. So you don't just slide off with all that momentum. Like this. Hey! Actually, I've made a mistake because now I don't know what's coming up above me and I could die at any moment. I should have scouted the rest of the level before trying and go for the band-aid. Hold on. Oh, there she is. No! Okay. Cool. I wonder if I can get a second chance at it during a run. Because, yeah, the screen's too high at that point. It might just be a one and done. Nope, too much. That could have worked. Oops. Nope. Yes. All right. Nice. Oh! I can't press enter. Does that mean what I think it means? It means I've got everything, or at least I've done all the levels. I think I'm missing a band-aid. One more left. Ah, I've missed one. Alright. Well, that's what I have a guide for. What's this? Let's see. Here's my guide. Okay. 1-3, 1-5, 1-7, 1-9. Actually, I've got a better guide than this. Hold on. The Steam Basement Collection page has a forum thread on band-aid locations that's easier to read than the wiki. 3, 5, 7, 9, 12. This is the missing one. Why did I not see that? And it's so early on. Now I feel dumb. Ugh. Oh! Yeah, if you get close enough to Bandage Girl, it does the animation of Fetus taking her away. Dr. Fetus, I should say. I don't know if he's a real doctor, actually. I feel like he's not. That was somewhere. In the comic zine, maybe? Or... Anyway, there we go. You unlocked something special. Check the secrets menu. Will do. Uh-huh. What do we got? It's hot coffee. Okay, warning for, you know, mock adult content. The hot coffee ending has been censored because a bunch of losers cried about it. Oh. Okay, so for the Basement Collection, they apparently removed the hot coffee ending, which Edmund describes in the Q&A. It's a reference to the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas cut content of the hot coffee mode, which featured two adult characters having consensual sex. The joke is that in this case it's two like basic square character design shapes that are just bumping against each other, and it's not really explicit or anything. You don't really get, you know, it's a joke. It's a parody. Okay, you can excuse a lot of things by saying it's a joke that are not okay, but it's like it's two squares bumping against each other. That's it. So yeah, okay. That's a little deflating that we got all the band-aids only to be met with a screen saying that the thing is not here. But I guess now that I've done that, I can quit. There's a lot of good fun facts as well. Meat Boy is a boy without skin. This is a lot more apparent in this Flash prototype. Oh, Gibbon is watching it on YouTube and says it's hilarious. Okay, look it up on YouTube, people. Somewhere in here I've got a list of all those quotes for the fun fact, so I'll tell you what those are. They're in the Basement Collection wiki. Fun facts. Meat Boy's codename was Vertigo. This is available in the This is a Cry for Help collection, as I've mentioned. Meat Boy's ending had to be censored on some Flash portals because the owners were prudes. Bandage Girl's original name was Band-Aid Girl, but it was changed in the console version to avoid a lawsuit. Meat Boy is a boy without skin. This is a lot more apparent in this Flash prototype. Dr. Fetus wears a bowler hat in the Flash prototype because his top hat made him too large. That's not poop, it's a chocolate bar. That's referring to the, ending that we saw before. Meat Boy is featured as an NPC in The Binding of Isaac. A poster for Meat Boy can be seen on the arcade wall in The Binding of Isaac. And those are all the fun facts. Okay. And we've unlocked the map pack. Nope, not that one. This is the Q&A. It goes for half an hour, so yeah, you can hear it if you get the game. The bonus map pack. It's a separate game instance. So I'll just play that a little bit. I don't really have time to go through the whole thing. But I've got a couple of things to show off before I finish here today. So I'll play a bit of the map pack. Oh, there's bonus content in this too. There's so many. There's so much here. Alright, I'm gonna return to this at a later date. So these are separated not by environment but by difficulty, so we're gonna again have a mix of level backgrounds and stuff. So yeah, I guess we'll just try doing the easy ones. Oh, actually, we can play as Bandage Girl. I would love to. Uh-oh, rant time from Gibbon. She says, the hot coffee GTA controversy was so dumb. It wasn't even accessible without a GameShark or other hacking device, and yet it led to a general, we need to think of the children and clean up games campaign, headed by Hillary Clinton. So much wasted time and outrage. Agreed. Agreed with everything you said. Totally. And yeah, there's a ton of levels in the map pack. Again, these are all user-submitted levels that were curated from... Oh, there's new, like, fun facts on the loading screen there. That's cute. Oops. This one's pretty easy because the walls are climbable. Otherwise it would be a lot more tricky. Ugh. Yeah, calling things gay is like something that you see in Edmund McMillen's humor of this era. And it's homophobic and it's not okay. Okay. Easy. Arr! That's a good gimmick. I've really come to hate these toothy bastards, I will say. This is advertising for the... I always... This is a cry for help. I always struggle with that name. Where am I? Okay. Oops. Alright. Because I want to kind of move on when I can, I'm going to play, like, the final impossible level just to see the difference. Oh god! Talking about blowing out your ear rolls. Okay. Clearly I gotta... Yep. So that's good so far. Oh, I guess I went too far to the left. Oh, okay. Oh no, it's the torpedo coming through that diagonal gap, which is killing me. That's kind of rude. Oh. Is this on a global cycle? Yeah, I can do this. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be completing the map pack even on my own time. Although I'm curious what the unlockables are. I'm looking it up now. Oh. Because there's so many of them. Meat Boy map pack unlockables. 4 new characters and 4 fully animated alternate endings. Good lord. Golly, as they say. Okay, here's a band-aid locations. There's a bug, but it was fixed. So what are the new characters? Somebody tell me. I don't know. Nope. Come on now, tell me something. Game FAQs, maybe. I'm really struggling to find this information. Alright, there's a YouTube video that might have it. I think this is the original game though, not the map pack. Yeah. Yeah, it's not the map pack. Well, I guess that'll be a mystery for now. I'm leaving. Okay. So while we're here, before we leave, I wanted to show you one thing. Like I said, there's a few things in Time Fook that are kind of similar to stuff that would show up in Super Meat Boy. But in Ether, there's an interesting kind of touch to it that will be very familiar if you know about Super Meat Boy. And I'll just skip through the plot to show you on the kind of world map in Super Meat Boy, before you enter a set of levels, you're standing on like a big planet with a smiley face. This is where that came from, Ether. It's also a really cool game with a grapple mechanic where you swing around on the tongue of this octopus, which is cute and fun, and you swing through space and go to other planets. Edmund describes this as an art game and like one of his few attempts at doing that. And yeah, it's really interesting, and I think it achieves those aims while also being a cool game. And there's even little moons you can run around on. But yeah, I just found that amusing. According to Edmund, Ether is the second best game in this collection. There you go. Alright, so I've shown you Meat Boy. I've shown you the prototype of Meat Boy, Vertigo. Now I want to move forward in time a bit to the time of Super Meat Boy. I'm not going to play Super Meat Boy, but actually, here's what I'll do. Back to my browser. So in Super Meat Boy, there's all these warp zones that are retro style graphics. Edmund got a lot of other, friends and colleagues in the indie community to create title screens for. The prompt is, draw the title screen you'd make for Super Meat Boy if it was your game. One of the people who did this was Terry Cavanagh, creator of Super Hexagon, VVVVV, and Dicey Dungeons, as well as many other interesting indie games. Thing is, Terry doesn't work that way. He's never drawn a title screen, so what he did instead was to make a little Super Meat Boy fan game in his own style and make something around that. So this title screen, which appears in Super Meat Boy, is actually a screenshot from a little mock-up game that he made. It's only a couple of screens long and very broken and was thrown together in a couple of hours, but it's a Super Meat Boy game that exists, and you can play it here, which links to a Flash thing, which doesn't work anymore. So what we've got is... where is it? In this folder somewhere. Oh, where did I put it? I did this at one point. Is it... hold on a second. Oh, I know where it is. Sorry. It's been archived, thankfully, in Blue Maxima's Flashpoint project. Ding! Okay, so here I've put together the Meat Boy games that exist in Flashpoint's archive. This includes the map pack expansion, and this is the original release of Meat Boy, so Hot Coffee will be intact if you're interested in unlocking it yourself. Along with that, we've also got Super Meat Boy by Terry Cavanagh, the mock-up game that he created in order to be a featured title screen in Super Meat Boy, the game. Not Super Meat Boy, the game, but the game called Super Meat Boy. It's a long story. Okay. Let's play it. If you're familiar with VVVVV, you'll know what Terry Cavanagh likes to do with ZX Spectrum style graphics, and that's what we've got here. Every screen has its own little name down the bottom. This is Cliffhopper. I've just shown you that there is a screen that you're not really supposed to get to that doesn't have a name, but never mind about that. Yeah, so it's a little Super Meat Boy style platformer, but in the mold of a ZX Spectrum flip screen side scroller. Hang on, is that a contradiction? A flip screen side scroller? Yeah, because it doesn't scroll, it's a flip screen. But it is on the side, it just doesn't scroll. Anyway, you know what I meant. The original Metroidvanias. Jet Set Willy and such. Rare's Underworld is an example. Yeah, but it's a Super Meat Boy game that exists. It was just only ever external on Terry Cavanagh's website. He didn't release it onto that website until 2011, so a little bit after the release of Super Meat Boy. But yeah, it's good that it's been archived in Blue Maxima's Flashpoint. Very helpful for me. I thought I had like a separate file for it, so I was looking for that, but then I forgot that it was in there in Flashpoint already, which helps a lot. Vertigo is not in Flashpoint, but that's because it was never like a released game. It was only a prototype shared between two people at the time. And even when it was made more widely available, that was only on the CD. This is a cry for help. It was never really on the internet. Oh, come on. The jump button's a little bit sticky, but again, this is just a prototype, a mock-up, not really meant to be played, but here I am playing it anyway. Terry Cavanagh was kind of just amusing himself making it. And, you know, part of his creative process of making the art was he was incapable of doing that without creating a game, apparently. Love the guy. Good stuff. I've played a couple of his freeware games too, they're really good. Okay. I believe I've reached the end of what's here in the content. I got to the top and I jumped off. I think the final ending will be immolating ourselves in that stream of salt at the top, so I guess I'll do that. Just check if I had any more notes for this. Nope. Ah, nuts. But you can see a lot of really cool interpretations of Meat Boy by different creators in those warp zones. It's worth doing them for the title screens alone. They're great. Okay, so here we are at the top. Okay, and that's the end. That's Terry Cavanagh's Super Meat Boy. We did it. We played another Super Meat Boy. Okay, the final one we got today, I've alluded to it several times already. It's Super Tofu Boy. So, this is one of PETA's classic stunts. Ill-conceived stunts, as I've got here in my notes. That's how I've worded it. Let me capture that. And they're not the only controversial figures involved in the production of this because, well, I'll show you when it comes up. This is the story screen first, and I gotta say, it's a bit ugly. The actual in-game graphics are much better, and they're more in line with the Meat Boy itself's graphics. Down here at the bottom, music donated by Tommy Tallarico. So he's been in the news recently for being a alleged serial fraudster. The other people involved with making this are probably not as controversial in that I've never heard of them. They're a UK-based firm called MCM Actually, I had their website up. Let me show you that real quick. So their website has shut down in the last few years, but until then they had continued as a digital marketing, company. If you go back in the archive, you can find their old page on Super Tofu Boy, which talks about it. They've worked with PETA before. They've done like other promotional flash games and websites, including one about cat protection, which is lovely. On board with that. There's 9 levels. And I think the other important thing to note about it, which is very interesting, result. So far the game has been a great success. During the first week, the game was played more than 3.5 million times by nearly 250,000 unique visitors. Now, comparing that to the comic in the Super Meat Boy zine, the response was amazing. Within a month, Meat Boy had been played over 4 million times. That tells me Super Tofu Boy was more popular than Super Meat Boy. And I say this with tongue firmly in cheek. But in a week, they had almost as many plays as Meat Boy had in a month. And this speaks to the higher profile that Meat Boy had reached by the time of Super Meat Boy, because this is coming out in response to the development of Super Meat Boy, or the recently released Super Meat Boy. Team Meat in turn responded to the existence of Super Tofu Boy by including Tofu Boy himself as a character in Super Meat Boy, presumably in a post-launch update. You can enter a cheat code to play as him. He's also included in Super Meat Boy Forever, being part of the lore of the series at that point. Now you'll notice a very similar UI scheme, and yeah, kind of set up, so that's interesting. I don't know if they actually base their work directly on the Meat Boy file, but there's no way to know from my perspective. So yeah, let's go. Welcome to Super Tofu Boy. There will be blood, lots of it, so let's begin by getting used to the basic controls. You can walk left and right using the arrow keys, and you can jump using the spacebar. Press enter to continue. So as you can see, in-game graphics, very cute, very in line with what Meat Boy actually looks like. So they've done a good job with that. The backgrounds are all like gross slaughterhouses. The point is that they're gross, and all the tips are about animals being slaughtered and stuff. So that's PETA's usual MO, really. Yeah, it's very similar language about how the game plays and stuff. But yeah, I think what they've done here is a very competent Super Meat Boy clone. if indeed they didn't just rip off the game code. I have no way of knowing that. But like, the fun part is how Tofu Boy was adopted by Team Meat and is kind of a part of the lore now, which makes this more official than it would have been otherwise, really. So yeah, it's kind of funny all around. It's really hard to get on board with PETA considering their tactics, even if, like, you might agree with their ideas. Because they always do these, like, really disproportionately over the top stunts and stuff, which has, I don't know, like, I feel like that kind of thing hurts their support more than it helps their cause. But that's just what I think. Tofu Boy's so cute. He looks a lot more decrepit when he appears as a playable character in Super Meat Boy. Oh, that's tight. Maybe I can wall jump off there. Yeah, that works. Oh, the crusher. So yeah, apparently there was a downloadable version of this. I haven't really looked into that because it's like perfectly playable here in the Flashpoint implementation, which is just an archiving of the Flash version. But it's probably just identical in the standalone download. What the heck? And we've still got band-aids as collectibles here. Oh, nuts. I didn't think to look up locations of those, so I hope I don't miss any. Ah, the scroll. It's too strong. So, yeah, like, ironically, there's more gore in this game than there is in Super Meat Boy itself. But that's kind of what PETA is trying to do a lot of the time. That's the point of of their kind of statements, is showing the reality of the meat industry. And how brutal and violent and awful it is. Which, like I say, I don't disagree with. But PETA can be very obnoxious about how they try and get... Well, sometimes it seems like they're more just getting publicity for themselves. Didn't I hear about them perpetrating their own violence against animals just to make the point? Which I absolutely do not agree with. I think that's a really misguided method. Oh, okay. But yeah, as far as this little stunt game goes, like I say, it's a perfectly cromulent Meat Boy like parody, and I enjoy playing it just as much as I enjoy Meat Boy. But it's part of that discourse that, oh gosh, was evident a little bit in Meat Boy itself about its stance and its creator's stance on meat, which the stance was they don't have a stance, at least not one that's presented by the game itself. And this game is not protesting against the game Meat Boy. It's more piggybacking on the popularity of Meat Boy to push PETA's agenda of anti-meat industry stuff. Yes, cromulent is a fun word, isn't it? Invented by The Simpsons as an example of a made-up word that then sort of became a real word just through people using it. It just means like acceptable or a decent example of something. Ah. I gotta find a better way of climbing the staircase. It might be not wall clinging, but it's really tight to get in there, so that might not be viable. That worked until I fell down. Yeah. So I think with this game the backgrounds are too busy. They kind of get in the way of the foreground gameplay, which again speaks to the point of the game is not to be a good game, it's to be, you know, a statement or whatever. Ugh. Ah, come on. I wonder if Tommy Tallarico remembers doing the music for this game. It says music donated by Tommy Tallarico in the title screen there. And I don't know what that means exactly. Donated by. Whether it's something that he composed for the game or whether it's just something else that existed that they asked him if they could use. And he said yes. It's probably more likely the latter, to be honest. Okay. Oh god. That's rough, but I did it. Firm, extra firm, or silken, tofu meets all your needs. Tofu is pretty good. It's not a perfect meat replacement, but I don't really like those other soy-based fake meat products that they sell these days. I'd rather just have vegetables. Oh no. Or other protein replacement things. There's just something weird to me about these non-meat products that mimic meat. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. Yes, okay, cool. I don't know how many bandages there are, actually. There's not one in every level, is there? Because I've got one in each level since, you know, a few levels ago. Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Fetus doesn't exist in this game. Meat Boy is the villain, and he's presented as a very kind of gross version of himself. Serpentine, serpentine. Okay, that's doable. You just gotta jump late enough. Oh, did I miss some? It's those backgrounds, I'm telling you. There's just too much going on in them. You can't see anything. That's probably what did it. Alright, I'll have to revisit those levels then. Am I going too fast at that point? Okay. Okay, cool. Oops. Oh yes. I'm playing Super Tofu Boy.
How you going?
I just won.
Nice.
Meat Boy felling the saws. Game over. Almost. Oh, Dr. Fetus does exist. How about that? You fools, I've been pumping Meat Boy full of hormones so the ugly side effects of his meatiness would drive Bandage Girl away. Okay. Wait, it replaced all the other levels? Can I not go back to the other levels? Okay, that's weird. It's one more level. There's not even that loading screen when you die in this game, unlike in Meat Boy, so you really respawn almost instantly. Oh, oh okay. Thanks.
Try it when you go.
Okay. Oh no. Yep, I knew it. When I went the safe route, I knew that was a mistake. Well, even if they did reuse the engine, which again, I have no idea, they're still like a decently designed set of levels here. So it's not too different from the map pack, really. Except that it wasn't chosen by Team Mick. Ah! Nah, I knew that would happen. Well, even if I can't replay the earlier levels because it's locked me out of them for some reason, oh, I'll tell you what I read about what happens when you find all the bandages. You unlock some video footage of animals being brutally slaughtered in slaughterhouses. Hooray. Again, this is like just speaking to the game being more of a message than a game in some ways. But I wasn't going to show that on the stream anyway, even if I did unlock it, so I guess it's not a big deal. This is how you're supposed to do this part. I was skipping part of it. Come on. Oh no. Mm-hmm. Oh no. Ah, okay. Yeah, sorry. Wonder if anyone speedruns Super Tofu Boy. Maybe I could be the first on the leaderboard. Although this run is horrendous. Yeah, so, like, worth noting that this would have been released after Super Meat Boy was out, but it's very much based on the original Meat Boy in style. You can see with these vertically scrolling levels and everything. That's what they're basing it on. Oh. But it's possible that it was released just after Super Meat Boy was out. Okay. Yes, I did it. A winner is you, and they lived healthily ever after. Now go vegan already. Okay, pushy. That's a link to, like, I guess a PETA website about veganism. Alright, what happens now? Okay, we can play all the earlier levels too. My bandages have disappeared. What the frig? I guess I'll get them. Ooh, Gibbon has found that nobody has submitted 100% runs of this game. Okay, where's the bandage? I'm not seeing one at all in this level. Wait, what? It's playing the ending again after I've... Okay, I'm just going to relaunch the game because it didn't save my bandages apparently. I guess whenever you've completed all the levels, at the point that you then complete any level, it goes to the ending. So I wonder how much it saves your progress though. So I'm launching it again. Oh, it's at the same state. Oh no, this is the opening. It's got the same music. Don't know where this music's from. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so this is back in original state. I'm not seeing any bandages. Maybe there aren't any in the first set. Gibbon said there were obvious ones I missed. I'm feeling paranoid now. Where are they? Maybe I only missed one. Where are you? Oh, there it is. Okay, that might be the first one in the game. Well, I've told you what the bonus is and said that I wasn't going to show it. So I'm not going to bother going through the whole game again and getting all the bandages. Because that's, as far as I know, the only thing that happens when you get them. I talked about Virtual Meat Boy, the WiiWare release that didn't happen, and yeah, that's all my notes, and that's all the games I was going to play too, so that's it. Didn't get to show off the whole map pack. Is it really worth it? No, it's not. I didn't get to show off the whole map pack, which is unfortunate, but it gets really, really hard at the end anyway, so we would just be here all day. I might try and plug away at it over the course of this month for Game Club, but that's not going to really affect the stream. Yeah, thanks for joining me. This was so much fun playing this game and yeah, reminding myself that I can do it. I fully 100% completed the original Meat Boy Flash, and that's something to be proud of. So yeah, go out and try it yourself. It's available in the Basement Collection on Steam, as a, preserved wrapper on archive.org, or it's on the Flashpoint project by Blue Maxima, along with thousands of other Flash games. So check it out. And if you want to play Vertigo, I'll put a link for that as well, where you can get the whole This Is a Cry for Help collection as well. Although if you get it, I do recommend supporting Macmillan by buying the Basement Collection. Yeah, okay. And I guess consider going vegan if you think it's right for you. I'm not going to force you. I barely eat any red meat these days, but that's neither here nor there, because Meat Boy is not a game about meat. It's a game about Meat Boy and Bandage Girl. Anyway, thanks for joining me. See you next time. I'll be playing some Proto-Celeste games, hopefully. That's my plan now, but it's subject to change, so stay tuned. And until then, have a good one. Bye.